I love the story of Roger Bannister. Roger Bannister was a runner back in the 40s and 50s. He's the first person that ran a sub 4-minute mile. And a lot of people at that time said it is impossible to run a sub 4-minute mile. Your heart will explode. You'll have a heart attack. You won't be able to get oxygen to your body. You will collapse. It's physically impossible. And Bannister said, I don't think so. I think I can do it. And he had been running 4:03, 4:02. And I love this part of the story. Bannister, after he ran the sub 4-minute mile in 1954, he was asked, how did you do it? Like, what did it take to do that outside of the training? And Bannister said something that was very important. He said, in my mind, I had already done it. I saw myself doing it before I had done it. I envisioned myself doing it. I thought about the roar of the crowd and what people would say to me and how I would feel and what it would be like. And I just decided I had already done it. The lesson here for me is super important. It's that belief comes before knowledge. It's not that we have to see it to believe it. Often we have to believe it first to end up seeing it. And that's because if we believe it first, we will stand a far greater chance of actually manifesting it and materializing it in our physical world. Oftentimes, if we say, I'll believe it when I see it, we don't really believe yet. And so because we don't believe, what it is that we want to have happen never happens for us. I recently had dinner with a friend of mine who was talking about a career change that he'd really like to make. But he talked about how difficult it was and how hard it could be and how the environment isn't quite right and what if he fails and whatnot. And one of the things I shared with him is that if you want to do this, if you want to be successful, if you want to make this shift, you've got to believe that you can and will be successful. You've got to say to yourself, I am going to find a way, no matter what, hell or high water, this is happening. And when you do that, it's funny the number of times and the number of things that you actually will be able to produce. This is an example of a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whether you think you can or think you can't, either way, you are right. There are so many stories of famous people, Tony Robbins, Steve Harvey, Jim Carrey, who were really struggling at some point in their acting careers or their comedy careers or their entertaining careers, and they were either bankrupt or sleeping in their cars or down to their last dollar, and they just made this choice to keep going. They just believed in their talents and what they had to offer the world and their gifts, and they said, I am going to figure this out. They did not give up. They didn't go get a corporate job. They didn't go backwards and retreat to something safer. They pursued their passions, and now they are the people that we know them to be. The Roger Bannister story can teach us so much. A lot of people with Bannister back in the day were basically saying, let us train you. We want to work with you. And Bannister sort of said, I'm going to do this myself. I'm going to train myself. I don't want anyone messing with my mindset. I want to make this happen, but I want to listen to me. And I think that's really cool and really telling that ultimately he did not want to be influenced. He didn't want anyone to limit his beliefs. He wanted to himself know that he could do it even before he had done it. So many stories in our history are like this. Thomas Edison, we've got Colonel Sanders of KFC, individuals like Henry Ford basically were told, you're crazy, ultimately you're not gonna be able to do what you say you're wanting to do. And all of them just said, it doesn't matter how many doors I have to knock on or how many times I have to get it wrong before I get it right, or how many failed or missed or mistakes or opportunities that just don't work out. I'm going to keep on going because I just believe and I know that the answer is here. And thanks to them pursuing their dreams, we have the 4-minute mile, the sub 4-minute mile, we have vehicle transportation in cars. We've got KFC. We've got the light bulb. It's so good that these innovative people did not give up just because everyone said, you're crazy, you can't do that. And so what can we learn from Roger Bannister? What can we learn from Edison and Henry Ford and Colonel Sanders? I think it's that we have to believe before we know. We have to absolutely be 100% sure, even if there's no evidence of it, that we can be successful and accomplish things we want. And that's what leads us to act and behave in accordance. That's what leads us to keep calling when we're getting told no, and to keep banging down doors when we're told no, and to keep submitting our resumes or trying to achieve that greatness in whatever sport or hobby. Because I think if we believe in ourselves and if we know the power of our potential and our gifts and our talents, we can absolutely do remarkable things that go down in the history books. Maybe you're not trying to run a sub 4-minute mile or do something that's never been done before. You're just trying to do something that you haven't done before. But I assure you, if you think first and you see yourself having already done it, having already accomplished it, and you visualize that for yourself and stay committed to knowing that can be mine, that's going to be mine, you're going to get there. You're going to do it. So with that, everybody make a great day. Challenge yourself today. Believe in yourself. Belief comes before knowledge.